Number 10, rolling his eyes at Meghan. Prince Harry has had some seriously awkward moments that were captured by millions of people. Born in 1984 to Prince Charles and Princess Diana, Harry grew up with the Queen of England as a grandmother, which couldn't have been easy. The young boy was subjected to royal etiquette rules from the moment he came into the world. Then, as Prince Harry got a little older, he started to misbehave. Ever since his problematic teenage years, Harry has been known as something of a royal bad boy. Usually, Harry and his wife Meghan are the perfect picture of married bliss no matter where they are in the world. However, in the audience of a 2019 Cirque du Soleil performance in London, the royal couple was caught by the cameras during a pretty awkward moment. According to Yahoo, a video of the couple showed Prince Harry stretching out his hand to Markle. She takes his hand saying thank you, to which he looked furious and rolled his eyes. That's some pretty strange behavior on Harry's part. He was even captured fiddling with his ring after the incident, to which one unnamed Instagram user commented, "Playing with the ring is not good." Number 9, cringe greeting. Ever gone for a kiss on the cheek and immediately regretted it? Harry has been there. In 2018, the royal was caught on camera in what is surely one of the most awkward greetings of all time. It all went down at the launch of Meghan's first solo project as a royal family member. Harry, Meghan, and her mother Doria Ragland were chatting with a female volunteer, and Ragland greeted the woman with a kiss on both cheeks. But when Harry goes in for a similar kiss, the woman backs away. Instead of backing off himself, Harry bends down, holds out his arms, and waits for her to accept his kiss on the cheek. Then the awkward kiss finally takes place, with Harry and the woman directing their demure pecks into the air. This particular moment is so cringeworthy, it's hard to watch. Definitely one of the most embarrassing royal family kisses of all time. Number 8, the awkward phone call. In 2020, Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping away from the royal family and moving away from Britain. Later that year, the royal couple took part in a video call with members of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust from their new home in LA. According to body language expert Judy James, the prince looked uncharacteristically awkward throughout the call and even spoke down to the floor. She went on to comment on Harry's positioning in the frame, saying that he looked slightly trapped to one side. James wasn't the only person to notice Harry's strange demeanor. Plenty of people took to social media to voice their thoughts as well. Apparently, one unnamed Twitter user even said, "I'm beginning to think he is being held hostage," and used the hashtag #SavePrinceHarry on the post. While it's impossible to know whether Harry actually felt awkward during the call or if he was simply struggling to find the right words to express himself, it's pretty clear that he didn't come across so well on this video call. Number 7, Miranda Hart. Miranda is a well-known British comedian who won over audiences with her hit show Miranda. The star opened up about her awkward greeting with Prince Harry on the Graham Norton show in 2015. It all happened when she hosted part of the Jubilee concert and had the chance to meet both the princes. She explained, "I completely died on my ass with Harry. It was so embarrassing." Hart went on to say that when she encountered Harry, she apologized for the flirting jokes she'd made in her speech, to which he replied, "It's a shame there's not music here and dancing." She explained that Harry was just trying to be sweet, but what happened next is seriously awkward for Hart. She then said, "I can hear music," in an attempt to make a joke. However, Harry thought she was being serious. Embarrassing. We can just imagine how embarrassing that moment must have been for Hart and for Harry, who apparently had no idea how to respond to her bizarre comment. Number 6, the ex-girlfriend. It's pretty common knowledge that Harry has had a seriously wild past. So it's not surprising that Harry has quite a few ex-girlfriends. One of the lucky ladies rumored to be on the list is actress Jenna Coleman. Apparently, Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, bumped into Coleman during a trip to Amsterdam in 2018, and by all reports, the encounter was seriously awkward. A witness to the event told Vanity Fair what happened. It seems that the royal couple and Coleman were seated in the same room for breakfast. The source explained how Harry and Markle had to walk straight past Coleman's table to reach their seats. It was pretty awkward, and some of the other guests were commenting on it. The witness revealed Jenna looked down while Harry looked straight ahead, and Meghan didn't seem to notice. The source went on to stress that Harry looked uncomfortable throughout the entire meal. Apparently, Coleman got up and left pretty quickly afterwards. Clearly, she could feel the tension too. Number 5, honeymoon destination. Harry met his future wife Meghan in 2016, and the rest was history. And while the pair hit it off pretty quickly, one embarrassing instance proves that they weren't quite ready for marriage right out the gate. When Harry visited Antigua and Barbuda on a royal errand, the country's Prime Minister Gaston Browne invited the royal and his new girlfriend to return to the country for their honeymoon. The BBC posted a video of the awkward exchange. The Prime Minister said, "Antigua and Barbuda has been voted consistently as the best honeymoon destination in the Caribbean. So there will not be any other place in the Caribbean for sure that is better to spend your upcoming honeymoon whenever that may arise." Harry can be seen looking awkwardly at the floor and blushing as the Prime Minister makes the joke. It's pretty clear that he was a few years ahead of the prince on this one. Number 4, Malala Yousafzai. Malala is an internationally recognized activist for gender equality in Pakistan and the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Harry met Yousafzai at the 2014 We Day Assembly, and the meeting turned out to be pretty awkward for them both. Apparently it all started innocently enough. According to Craig Kielburger, co-founder of the event, when the pair were posing for a photo together, Harry casually tried to place his arm around the activist's shoulders. Kielburger explained that her mother started shouting, "No, no, no," which translated to, "Not unless you marry her, can you touch her." He revealed to Hello Magazine. Yikes, the prince clearly didn't know the correct protocol. Kielburger went on, "Prince was so red in his face at that moment, and he was clasping his hands in the front. Malala was so embarrassed, and we aren't surprised. The moment sounds totally mortifying." Number 3, awkward pregnancy reveal. Anyone who follows the royals will know that etiquette matters. With the royal family, there is a correct time and place for everything. However, it would seem that Harry's wife Meghan didn't fully understand the intricacies of royal etiquette, and she ended up seriously embarrassing her husband because of it. According to the book Royals at War, written by journalists Dylan Howard and Andy Tillett, Markle's pregnancy announcement was incredibly poorly timed. Meghan put her foot in it, the book stated, when she decided that Princess Eugenie's wedding would be the ideal moment to announce that she and Harry were expecting their first child. As the book went on to explain, this was a huge social gaffe as it stole the limelight from the bride. Oops. Apparently Meghan's bad timing made both the bride and her mother furious. That must have been pretty awkward for Harry. Who would have known just how serious Markle's blunder was? Fortunately, there are plenty of royal rules Meghan and Harry no longer have to follow. Number 2, Instagram handle. Most people who have grown up with social media accounts have their own embarrassing online histories. Whether it's an old MySpace page or an email address you made when you were a teenager, we've all been there. But it may surprise you to learn that Harry has social media gaffes of his own. In 2020, Harper's Bazaar published an excerpt from Finding Freedom, a biography about Harry and Meghan. It confirmed that the royal had a super cringe-worthy Instagram handle back in the day. Ready for it? Apparently, Harry started an Instagram account under the hilarious name Spiky Mouse with a 5 instead of an S back in 2016. The author of the book revealed that the name was an homage to the prince's love of house, music, and artist deadmau5. Apparently, Spike is a nickname often used by Scotland Yard officers. Talk about an awkward revelation for Prince Harry. Number 1, battling with a bee. Harry frequently gives speeches in public as part of his royal duties, or at least he did before moving to LA with his wife. During one such event in 2019, things didn't go according to plan when a pesky bee stole the prince's thunder. The hilarious moment took place during Charles's 70th birthday celebrations. As Prince Harry delivered his speech, he was seen swatting away a bug that was flying close to his head. Harry then went quiet for a moment before trying to continue. Stumbling over his words, he then chuckled and said, "Sorry, that bee really got me," provoking laughter from audience members. Apparently, bees don't have too much respect for royalty. I mean, we're pretty impressed at how Harry handled the situation so professionally. After all, bee stings can be seriously painful. Number 10, mocking royal traditions. Now, as many of y'all already know, there is a scene in the Harry and Meghan Netflix series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. The royal traditions. Those weird and wonderful customs that have been passed down from generation to generation within the British monarchy. Some might find it endearing, others might find it absurd. But one thing is for sure, it's entertaining to watch from the outside. But let's talk about the curtsy. The art of curtsying may seem simple at first glance, but let me tell you, it takes some serious skill. First off, you have to get the perfect angle of your legs and feet, not too wide or too narrow. Then there's the movement of your body, a graceful bend at the knees while maintaining a straight back. And let's not forget about the positioning of your arms and hands. They have to be just right. But Meghan took it to a whole new level with her dramatic curtsy. It was like she was auditioning for a role in Swan Lake. I mean, we all want to impress our future mother-in-law, but that was just over the top. Number 9, Oprah interview. After the infamous Oprah interview dropped back in 2019, the couple had been accused of prolific lying, with lies being told about racism amongst other things. People can't help but wonder what is the truth and what is being exaggerated. Looks like the couple has quite a bit of explaining to do, and if it turns out they were telling fibs, well, let's just say that's not gonna go over well with the king. But hey, at least we'll get another season or 2 of The Crown out of this whole mess. Silver lining? I think so. But in all seriousness, the situation with Harry and Meghan is a perfect example of how quickly things can spiral out of control in today's media landscape. With social media constantly creating new avenues for information to spread like wildfire, it's no wonder that even the most seemingly perfect public figures can't escape scrutiny. And let's not forget about cancel culture. One wrong move or poorly worded statement can lead to an immediate cancellation and public shaming. It's a scary thought, especially for those in the public eye who are constantly under a microscope. Number 8, Netflix docuseries. We have all seen or at least heard about the 6-part Netflix docuseries, and let me tell you, the tea on these two, especially Meg, is hotter than ever. While it was back in 2020 that the couple stepped down from the throne to live a life away from the royal responsibilities, to have a quiet and normal life, we can't help but question why everything they've been doing is the exact opposite of quiet. The internet has been up in flames over Meghan's behavior in the docuseries, and some even feel as if it should just be titled Meghan because of her dramatic approach to topics that some do not feel deserved a whole series, especially if they wanted a life away from the press and media. Body language experts have revealed that Meghan's behaviors and actions show her as a manipulative narcissist who is using Harry's vulnerability against him and controlling him to do everything she wants. Number 7, playing victim. Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs apparently are being peddled by Meghan, according to some people. Others see him as a victim of the royal family's strict rules and duties who has lost his true self in an attempt to fit into their mold. But let's not forget that Harry is also a grown man with his own agency. He may be considered a prince by title, but he's still a human being capable of making his own decisions. So why do some people insist on painting him as a helpless victim? It's easier to blame someone else for our own choices and mistakes. Instead of accepting responsibility, we like to play the victim and shift the blame onto others. And it seems that Prince Harry is not immune to this behavior. However, let's not forget that being a member of the royal family comes with a certain level of privilege and responsibility. It's not all tea parties and fancy hats. It also involves representing the country, maintaining traditions, and upholding a certain image. And while some may argue that these expectations are outdated, they are still part of the royal family's role and duties. But alas, Prince Harry has broken free from these constraints with his newfound anti-royal beliefs. And while it may seem liberating to him, it's also important to acknowledge the privilege and platform he still holds due to his royal status. It's not an easy feat for someone outside of royalty to garner the same level of attention and support for their ideas. Number 6, royal family drama. As we've seen the Duchess of Sussex become one of the most watched women in the world, we've also seen everything Meg has done and all the fair and unfair criticism she's been receiving. But let's be honest, did we expect anything different? It's like watching a soap opera unfold right in front of us. Let's start with the classic villain, good old Prince Andrew. Yes, the same one who has been accused of some pretty nasty stuff. Yet this man still thinks he deserves to keep his royal titles and be a part of the family. Sorry, Andy, but that's not how it works. And then there's Harry and Meghan, who decided to leave their royal duties and start a new life away from the drama. Of course, the media and some members of the royal family weren't too happy about this decision, but can you blame them? The British royal family is basically the original reality TV show, and without Harry and Meghan, things just wouldn't be as interesting. And let's not forget about King Charles, who seems to have a knack for creating drama in his personal life. From his highly publicized affairs to his strained relationship with his sons, he definitely keeps us on our toes. Number 5, not caring to learn about the royal life. Within an interview with Oprah, Meghan claims she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Prince Harry. According to a well-placed source, that was a, wait for it, blatant lie. Prince Harry and brother William's private secretary at the time had created an organized folder with information and contacts to help Meghan in this transition into royal life, but clearly she didn't care to learn any of it, and on top of that, accused the palace of not directing her through this journey. Sounds like a you problem, Meg. Number 4, Fab 4 breakup. The chaotic timeline of Harry and Meghan's relationship caused a lot more kinds of news stories. While sources told Us magazine that things went well when Harry introduced Meghan to William and Kate in January 2017, things took a turn when the eldest brother felt they were moving too fast. Harry was pissed off when William suggested he was blindsided by lust. William reportedly told his brother to take as much time as you need to get to know the girl, which upset Harry. Amid rumors of a feud between Meghan and Kate, the Fab Four made their last public appearance together at Christmas in 2018. But by March 2019, it was announced that Harry and Meghan would be splitting from Kate and William's royal foundation. Number 3, short temper. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together. With fans and haters watching their every move, this couple is used to getting lots of attention, whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meghan, people started watching Meg like a hawk, dissecting her every move. Naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like. But one thing that really has people talking is Meghan's short temper. Apparently, the Duchess of Sussex has a bit of a fiery side that sometimes comes out when things aren't going her way. And honestly, can you blame her? She's been under intense scrutiny since she and Harry got together, so it's no wonder she might snap every now and then. But let's not forget, Meghan is a human being just like the rest of us, and who among us hasn't lost their cool when dealing with pressure and criticism? Whether it's snapping at a coworker or yelling at a partner, we've really all been there. So can we blame Meghan for having moments of frustration? And number 2, disliked by royal staff. There were reports at the time that palace staff didn't trust Meghan. While one staffer reportedly said she comes with a lot of baggage, others were more critical, with one senior aide calling her tricky and difficult to handle. Well, let's be real here. Who wouldn't have a few trust issues if they married into the British royal family? Sure, you get fancy titles and jewels, but at what cost? Constant scrutiny from the press and never being able to step out of line without facing intense criticism? Plus, you have to deal with all these strict royal protocols and traditions. No thanks. I'll stick to being a commoner. And as for the difficult label, can we blame Meghan? She was thrown into a completely new environment with rules she wasn't used to and people who were probably judging her every move. Not to mention, she was also dealing with the challenges of being pregnant and raising a newborn while living under intense public scrutiny. And finally, number 1, mistreating staff. Leading up to the Oprah interview, the Times reported accusations that Meghan mistreated her palace aides and staff prior to the 2020 exit. And while Meghan denied the allegations, noting in a statement that she was saddened by the latest attack on her character, the palace revealed they were investigating the claims. Number 10, the Netflix docuseries. If you haven't noticed already from our channel, I cannot talk about Meghan or Harry without bringing up the controversial docuseries that immediately made this couple 2 of the most hated royals. We have all seen or at least heard about the 6-part docuseries Harry and Meghan, and these two, especially Meghan, is hotter than ever. The internet has been up in flames over Meghan's behavior in the docuseries, and some even feel as if it should just be titled Meghan because of her dramatic approach to topics that some do not feel deserved a whole series, especially if they wanted a life away from the press and media. Body language experts have revealed that Meghan's behaviors and actions show her as a manipulative narcissist who is using Harry's vulnerability against him and controlling him to do everything she wants. Others believe she wanted to step away from the royals because she was unable to control the narrative of the British press. Drama? Let me know in the comments below if you agree. Number 9, mistreating staff. Leading up to the Oprah interview, the Times reported accusations that Meghan mistreated her palace aides and staff prior to the 2020 exit. While Meghan denied the allegations, noting in a statement to Us in March 2021, she was saddened by the latest attack on her character. It's no secret that being a member of the royal family comes with a certain level of scrutiny and pressure, but it's important to remember that behind all the glitz and glamour, these individuals are still human beings who deserve respect and fair treatment. The accusations against Meghan are not only damaging to her reputation, but they also shed light on larger issues within the institution of the monarchy. The mistreatment of staff and employees, often kept hidden behind closed palace doors, is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. Number 8, short temper. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together, with fans and haters watching their every move. This couple is used to getting lots of attention, whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meghan, people started watching her like a hawk, dissecting her every move. Naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like. But despite all the attention and scrutiny, Meghan has maintained a calm and composed demeanor. She's always had a reputation for being cool under pressure, which is definitely a desirable trait when you're part of that family. However, there have been moments where her temper has gotten the best of her. Who can forget the infamous tiara incident during Meghan's wedding planning? It was reported that she threw a fit when the Queen wouldn't let her wear the tiara she wanted. But can you blame her? Planning a wedding is stressful enough, and adding royal traditions and expectations can be overwhelming. Plus, every bride wants to feel beautiful on her big day. It's understandable that Meghan may have gotten frustrated with the strict rules surrounding royal weddings. And let's not forget the countless rumors and negative press that have followed Meghan since she joined the royal family. It's no secret the British tabloids have been relentless in their criticism of her, and at times, it must be hard for her to keep her cool. But through it all, she has remained graceful and poised. Number 7, the Oprah interview. After the infamous interview dropped back in 2019, the couple has been accused of prolific lying, with lies being told about racism, amongst other things. During the interview, Meghan mentioned there were concerns within the royal family about how dark their son Archie's skin color would be, and while this statement caused outrage amongst viewers, it was later revealed that Prince Harry had clarified that the conversation was not with any of the senior members of the royal family. He also stated that he would never share specifics about that conversation. In the interview, Meghan and Harry claimed they had gotten married in secret 3 days before their public wedding ceremony. However, some have questioned if this is actually true, since no marriage certificate had been released. And the Archbishop of Canterbury has stated that is not a legal marriage. Both Meghan and Harry expressed concerns about their security being taken away, even though they were no longer working royals. However, it was later revealed that the couple never lost their personal protection officers, only the publicly funded security provided by the royal family. Number 6, mockery. Meghan was mocking the royal traditions. Now, as many know, there was a scene in the series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. As she was laughing it up, Harry seemed to be annoyed with her mocking something part of his tradition. Seeing as he is uncomfortable by the mockery, it is definitely not a good look for Meghan at all. Let's delve deeper into this scene and its implications. Meghan, being American and not familiar with the royal customs, may have found the curtsy to be amusing or unnecessary. However, her actions could also be seen as disrespectful towards Harry's heritage and traditions. This highlights a common issue in relationships where one partner is from a different cultural background. Differences in customs, beliefs, and values can often lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. And it's important for both partners to be open-minded and willing to learn about each other's cultures. But let's not forget the context of this scene. It's a fictional depiction of real-life events. It's possible that Meghan did not actually mock the curtsy, but her character in the show did for comedic effect. Nevertheless, it serves as a reminder to be mindful and respectful. Number 5, father drama. The Duchess discussed her estrangement from her father following a controversy over whether he staged a series of paparazzi-style photographs in the lead-up to their 2018 wedding. Harry described the situation with his father-in-law as incredibly sad. I shouldered that because if Meg wasn't with me, then her dad would still be her dad, he said. Meghan opened up about her half-sister Samantha, who she said she hasn't seen since her early 20s, but who frequently spoke of her in the media. Meghan said, "I don't know your middle name, I don't know your birthday. You're telling these people that you raised me and you've coined me Princess Pushy." Also interviewed on the show was Ashley Hale, Samantha Markle's estranged daughter, who remains close with Meghan. According to Meghan, her reception in the palace was pretty cold, saying she felt a lack of warmth at royal family gatherings and found all the standoffish behavior very odd. Number 4, social climber. In December 2018, months after praising Meghan for her humanitarian work, Piers launched his first of many harsh attacks on her. In essence, he stated that Meghan married for fame. The palace is beginning to turn against Meghan, who has become a ruthless social climber and has landed the role of her life and is determined to maximize it too. Pierce has only increased his attacks since then. However, I think he might just be hurt that she didn't choose him. Pierce and Meghan exchanged messages for some time, and when Meghan went to the UK to see Serena Williams play at Wimbledon, they met for a drink. But after she started talking to Harry, Pierce claims he never heard from Meghan again and claims he was ghosted by Meghan. Sounds like someone's a little butthurt. Now that Meghan and Harry are no longer senior working royals, Meghan should divorce Harry because supposedly he would have outlived his usefulness. Despite his status as a prince, he lacks practical experience, and she might surprise him with a divorce and he would lose everything, including his money and possibly even Archie, a palace source allegedly told. His head must be spinning at how quickly he went from a castle in Canada to the middle of LA. The worry is that she might blindside him with a divorce. Meghan's allegedly really scheming, which may not end happily for Prince Harry. Number 3, financial independence. Once the couple officially left the family, it seemed as if there was only one thing Meghan and Harry were chasing: the bag. Since they don't make money as working members of the royals, they have made commercial arrangements where it seems like the only thing keeping them relevant is the fascination with them fleeing the royal family, which I can't lie is a pretty savage move. But then what was even more savage of them was when they started finding ways to get paid by exposing some private matters of the royals. The late queen was pretty upset with the way they handled the situation and how much they were planning on milking the family post-departure. Once they moved to LA, it was a wrap. Meghan had no other choice but to get back into the industry, not necessarily acting, but having her own podcast where she chats with famous women about real issues. This podcast later got dropped, but that $25 million deal is just one of many deals this couple has signed to make sure that money was flowing. Number 2, exposing the royal treatment. Now that Meghan is no longer an official part of the royals, she had been dishing about Harry's side of the family relentlessly. According to her, palace life was a little frosty, and Kate is apparently the biggest culprit of standoffish behavior. Meghan can't wrap her head around the fact that no one hugs back there. Even during the docuseries when Meg was talking about when Will and Kate came over, they weren't huggers, but that should be fine and not something to make a big deal out of. According to her, it's obvious that Kate and William do not approve of their choices and that you could cut the tension with a knife. And finally, number 1, isolated Harry from his family. A magazine or tabloid can just whip something out whenever they need a story, and boom, a rumor is born. Here's one from Women's Day in which a palace source supposedly said Meghan orchestrated the move to LA to live that Hollywood celeb life, exploiting not just Harry but also Archie. You can't tell me this wasn't her plan all along to bring her boys to America. She could live the celebrity life she'd always dreamed of. The source claimed it all makes sense now why she was so uninterested in getting a British visa, but the scary thing is she now has Harry right where she wants him, isolated from his family in a country where she holds all the cards in terms of legal rights. Number 10, the royal affair. This one is no big secret. The Princess of Wales was very much aware of Charles cheating on her with Camilla. His mistress at the time was regarded as a villain long before Princess Diana and Charles filed for divorce. Additionally, she was resented up until the Princess of Wales' untimely passing in 1997. However, Camilla's life truly changed in the days following that tragic incident. The Duchess of Cornwall was not specifically held accountable for Princess Diana's misfortune. After Diana's passing in a Paris car accident, they did, however, discover a newfound hatred for her greatest foe. Because of that hatred, Camilla had to hide for months as the situation escalated. But I guess it was worth her relationship with Charles, right? If Camilla had never gotten herself in this mess with Charles, being one of the most hated royals would have never been something she'd have to worry about. But it makes you question, if he cheated on Diana, who knows if he's cheated on Camilla and was able to successfully hide it from her, even though he failed to do so from Diana. Number 9, the palace staff. Even Prince Charles's cleaning staff once kept his affair with Camilla a secret from Princess Diana. So we know his staff really does ride for him. Or at the very least, they try to. The Prince of Wales' affair with the Duchess of Cornwall, which occurred while Charles was married to Princess Diana, as we all know, is well known to everyone. It is safe to assume that some members of the royal family are dissatisfied with the fact that their affair is getting screen time on Netflix's The Crown, making it by far one of the biggest royal relationship scandals. In a well-known interview with News of the World in 1995, the prince's valet Ken Stronach shared shocking details about Charles's affair. He was even fired because of his breach of confidentiality. Stronach claimed at the time that he scrubbed grass stains from Charles's pajamas after the prince would sneak out of bed in the middle of the night to meet with Camilla. Charles even made sure his staff made his bed look like he had slept there by ruffling it up. It was very elaborate, but no one was fooled. The valet claimed that he had become ill as a result of the strain of keeping Charles's secrets. He stated to the newspaper at the time, "We've all been told not to speak to anyone about anything throughout his time with Charles. I became extremely ill as a result of the strain of keeping his secrets." Even though Prince Charles has admitted to the affair and married Camilla, it's clear that the firm still doesn't like to talk about this royal stuff. Jealousy. During his marriage to Princess Diana, he had his first significant encounter with disapproving public opinion. Archival footage of the couple touring Australia in the new HBO documentary The Princess suggests that he was jealous of how much more popular she was. Diana confirmed that Charles envied the public's devotion to his wife in her explosive '95 interview with BBC's Martin Bashir. The pressure on us both as a couple with the media was phenomenal and misunderstood by a great many people. We'd be going around Australia, for instance, and all you could hear was, "Oh, she's on the other side." Diana subsequently clarified that the waiting crowds were expressing their disappointment that Charles was closer to them rather than Diana. I would be disappointed too. Who wouldn't want to see the people's princess? Considering at the time Charles was a future king, the fragile ego is a toxic trait, Charles. And who's to say he isn't like that towards Camilla? On to number 7, backlash. Charles's troubled past has been exposed numerous times now that he is king. He was accused of trying to get the British government to do something. A senior member of parliament dubbed Charles Britain's best informed lobbyist after it was revealed in 2015 that he had received secret documents about the British government's inner workings not even elected ministers had seen. The royal engaged in personal lobbying efforts to senior politicians about a variety of topics, including illegal fishing of the Patagonian toothfish and orders of military helicopters during the Iraq War. According to 27 memos that were provided to The Guardian and dubbed the Black Spider memos due to Charles's scrawl. Clarence House stated at the time that it is typical for heirs to the throne to be briefed on political topics. However, critics argued that members of the royal family should avoid politics. King Charles's political activism raises the question of whether he'll be a political outspoken monarch. According to University of Chicago historian James Vaughn, who spoke to Politico, the question mark would be, would he try to use his role in the unwritten constitution to influence the British government's policies? And thinking more than his mother probably ever wanted to. Number 6, the royal family versus Camilla. Even though Charles and Camilla's relationship was very serious, Camilla was still viewed negatively by the royals. For one thing, she was thought to be an experienced woman, which made her a no-go for the royal family when it came to finding Prince Charles a wife. In addition, she was not thought to be sufficiently aristocratic to be a princess. It is no secret that Diana's 2 sons never truly accepted Camilla once Charles brought her into the family, and although William might be less vocal about his opinion on her, especially as a future king, Prince Harry never held back his feelings about the queen consort. As the notorious 3rd member of Princess Diana and then Prince Charles's marriage, she faces criticism constantly, resembling the evil stepmother from fairy tales. In memoir Spare, Prince Harry says that she was trying to get rid of her other women reputation and be seen as a legitimate royal wife by bargaining with the British tabloid media at his expense. That's some tea if I've ever seen some. Harry explained that after marrying Prince Charles in 2005, Camilla sought a revamp and was dubbed the villain by the British press. Because of the connections she was making within the British press that made her dangerous, he stated. Additionally, there was an unmistakable willingness on both sides to give information. Given that she was on her way to becoming queen consort and that she came from a family that was structured in a hierarchical manner, there were bound to be people or bodies discarded in the open. Number 5, revealing the big secret. Charles and Camilla probably would have married much earlier if Diana had survived and gotten married as expected. Instead, for a number of years, they kept their relationship under wraps and out of the public eye. In 2004, the Prince of Wales tied the knot with his longtime partner. She chose not to style her name as Princess of Wales, Diana's former title, even though she technically could have done so. Number 4, confrontation. Princess Diana felt that she had to give her husband's mistress a piece of her mind after being advised by friends to ignore suspicions of an affair between her husband and Camilla. Diana told Camilla boldly, "I'd just like you to know that I know exactly what is going on." Despite the Princess of Wales' claim that she was terrified of Camilla. I feel like in an alternate universe they could have been besties if it wasn't for Prince Charles. But anyway, by claiming that she had no idea what Diana was talking about, Camilla attempted to refute the allegation. Diana recalled Camilla saying that she had all the men in the world and everything she could ever want. Diana replied to Camilla, "I want my husband," when she was asked what else she could want. That's deep, that's deep. Number 3, unfit for the King of England. Prince Charles and Camilla first met in the 70s. The prince fell in love right away after they were introduced by friends. Penninger, a royal biographer, wrote in the Duchess was not in any way overawed by him, not fawning or sycophantic. According to Camilla, even though they shared a strong bond, Camilla accepted that proposal from her on and off boyfriend, Andrew, after the prince was sent off with the Royal Navy in 1973. Even if things had turned out well for the two of them, the palace didn't think Camilla would make a good fit for the king. She did not come from an aristocratic family, which was very important back then. Number 2, Diana's mental health. After learning about the tragic ending of Diana and Charles's marriage, we find out how much his unfaithful and negligent actions impacted Diana's mental health. He clearly has narcissistic tendencies to the point where it became detrimental to Diana's health while she was alive. Who's to say he hasn't repeated that sort of behavior around Camilla? Or who knows if she ever wondered how much Diana was suffering because of him and whether he would be like that with her. I mean, clearly they're still seemingly happily married, so that doesn't seem like much of a problem, but what do you think? And finally, number 1, not the Queen's choice. It is not a secret that the extramarital affair between Charles and Camilla rocked the crown to its foundation and put the final nail in the coffin of Princess Diana and Prince Charles' strained marriage. Queen Elizabeth was furious more than anyone else. Even the Duchess was not allowed to enter the palace for some time. In point of fact, she only had a meeting with the Queen in the year 2000 because the late monarch had refused to meet her before then. However, the Queen did say they have overcome Becker's Brook and the chair and all kinds of other terrible obstacles at the reception for the Duchess and Prince. They have prevailed, and I am extremely proud of them and wish them well. My son is at home with the person he loves. Anyway, that's enough for that juicy relationship. Let me know what your thoughts are on them and what other red flags and toxic traits you think King Charles has. But anyway, catch you next time on The Rich Life.